So I'm just going to start recording. I'm doing this just as a documentation of my journal. I think recently I've been thinking about how can I become more productive and more creative, and I think a daily reflection of thoughts. There are a lot of people that I follow that do this, and it seems to have a very beneficial effect on their productivity, creativity, critical thinking. So I've been doing kind of a little journal for a little while, and I thought, right, so what if I write the journal, then I can read the journal afterwards as kind of a video documentation, and I can also expand on some thoughts. So what I'm going to do initially is I'm going to just read the journal entry from today, which is the 25th of September 2025. And then afterwards, I can just expand on any thoughts from this. And it just gives me, by doing it, daily or every other day, it gives me some kind of accountability that, to keep reflecting on life, on work, and to keep me thinking critically and keep me moving forward. So that's what I'm going to do. If you're watching this, my name is Rob. I have a company called RoboTune. It's a very small company. It's just me. It's not like I'm running a big company or anything. It's a freelance. I'm a freelancer with a limited company, just to run things and make myself look, professional. I also have a project that I'm working on called Beanhams, and that is going to be a character-based educational project. It's not monetized or anything at the minute. It's in the very early stages. I'm working through, and this is one of the reasons why I want to document the journey and keep myself on track to keep progressing and moving forward, and taking the steps that I need to take for it to do the things that I want it to do. So, right, let's just get into it. So today's entry, the 25th of September 2020, the 25th of September 2025. I often wonder where college Rob has gone. During college, I was relentless when it came to work. I'd put maximum effort in, stay up late, and push the boundaries of my capabilities. In my adult life, I've had less of this drive. I do get it in waves, then I have long periods of feeling unmotivated and lazy. Sometimes it's difficult just to make the first move. Just getting past that first hurdle can be a mental battle. I think there are a number of elements that contribute to this unmotivated state. The first one, in college, I had three things: structure, accountability, and competition. We had 2 weeks per project. We had to have it finished on time or you'd receive a low mark or a fail. This was non-negotiable. Yeah, during college we had 2 weeks. And that was it. So there was a definite time constraint. And that is the first point, the structure. So I guess, this was non-negotiable. So I guess this is the fourth element. No, this is the structure, point one. I kind of went back on myself a little bit. So I guess time, the structure element of it is point one. And I guess what I was thinking there, the time element of making sure you've got, set yourself deadlines, a challenge, that could be considered point four. But anyway, let's get back to it. We were held accountable by our lecturer. I had three main lecturers at college, Kevin Furlong, Andy King, and Elizabeth Keeley Morris when it came to my foundation degree. After the second year of college, I went on to do a foundation degree, and that was Elizabeth. I wanted to impress them and not look like a fool. And then the third point was I had competition. I'm very competitive. My goal was to be the best. I'd do pretty much whatever it took to be the best. This made me push my boundaries creatively and technically. This is when I feel I was at my peak, not in terms of skill, but in terms of drive and determination. I had a lot of this at Toxic Fox. Toxic Fox was the company that I helped start and worked for a few years. So I had a lot of this at Toxic Fox when I was younger, between the ages of 22 to 25. This changed when I had kids. Priorities changed. I wanted to be a present dad. That was and still is one of my main goals in life. I wanted a family and I wanted to be there for my kids. So your priorities change. This didn't mix well with trying to grow a big business. Now the kids are getting a bit older, I can start focusing more on work, but I want to get that drive back. So I need to figure out a way to create similar conditions to those I had at college. I work mostly alone and with my clients, so I need to create a structure around every project, a non-negotiable deadline. I need to find some competition that I can aim to be better than. I need to be careful with this. I'll expand on this in a minute. I need to be held accountable. Could I get Gemma, my wife, to be this person? Should I ask Clinton, ex-business partner / boss, for maybe a once a month meetup? I need to figure it out and create these conditions. So that was my journal entry for today. And just to expand on that, so what I want to do is create the conditions that I had in college with the aim of creating a similar drive, determination, focus that I had back then. Like I said, in terms of skill, I've come a long way since college. When I look back at some of my old college work, it's pretty cringeworthy. But however, my attitude and my drive back then, I feel, was a lot higher back then. I mean, there are a different number of elements that go into that. Obviously, kids, family, age. Obviously, back in college, I was between the age of 16 and let's say 20. I finished university at 21, but even when I got to university, because I basically I did my foundation degree at college, which is the first 2 years of university. So I spent 4 years at the physical college. The last 2 years of that was the first 2 years of my degree. And then I went to Manchester Met University to do my final year. Even when I got in my final year, I wasn't as driven and motivated as I was in the previous years. I'll get onto that another time, I think. But for now, those first 2 years of college, especially when it was the National Diploma in Multimedia, I was very driven. So I want to try and recreate those conditions. And to do that, I think I need clarity, I need goal, I need structure in the projects, I need clarity on what I'm doing, I need accountability, and I need competition. And that's what I wanted to get on. In brackets, I put I need to be careful with this. And one thing I noticed while I was working at Toxic Fox, and when we started Toxic Fox, Clinton, my ex-business partner, would always look to others in the same industry to see what they were doing, and you have to be aware of when you're in a competitive industry, you have to be aware of what the competition is doing. And the downside of that is sometimes you can get to a place where you're kind of imitating them. And some of the rationale behind that is Clint knew that one of the competition that he used to work at were very data driven. So the rationale was they wouldn't do this without it being backed by data. So we should do this because there must be a reason that they're doing this. And I totally understand the rationale, but I feel like it stops you from thinking from a different perspective. You're kind of constantly chasing the tail of the competition rather than jumping in front of the competition and being innovative. So this is where I think I need to be careful when I'm developing things like B&Ms or whatever project it may be. Be aware of the competition, try and do better than the competition, but maybe don't play the same game. Instead of thinking about the granular things that the competition do, maybe think on more of a principles-based level. I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but yeah, don't imitate, innovate. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. Is I need the competition, I need the structure, I need the accountability. So I need to think about how I create those conditions, which I guess I will have a session thinking about those things, and then I'll probably make a video about it. So to the 0 people watching, thank you if you even listening to this. This is for me mainly, but if you get anything out of it, awesome. And I will make another video soon. Bye.